Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And we're sitting at fairly muggy there. It's steamy with a dew point of 67, but it is likely to drop into comfy and refreshing. I'll show you when.
Breaking news out of Raleigh this morning. A car rolls over and lands on its roof on I-440 near Capitol Boulevard. How people who saw the crash say it happened.
At least 16 juveniles have been shot in Durham so far this year. Coming up, how police are investigating a shooting this morning that left a 17-year-old hurt.
The busy Memorial Day travel weekend is wrapping up at RDU today. The airport says the number of people who flew for the holiday could be a record. Maybe you were one of those people who had to go through a TSA checkpoint. Hope your travels went smoothly. Welcome back. It's back to reality and back to the work week. We're here to kick it off for you. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for making us part of your Tuesday. Yeah, it might stick in your head there as far as the first work day. And we're back to some comfortable temperatures as well. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with this beautiful sunrise on the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there right now. Take a live look at Raleigh, too, and you can see a gorgeous sunrise. A little bit of cloud cover out there, but those clouds will be dissipating as we get through the day today. 70 degrees heading out the door with a light wind. It is 72 in Goldsboro, at 69 in Rocky Mount. Our cool spot is 61 in Roxboro, and the warmest spot 73 in Fayetteville. Now we're about to see a big pattern change. We're going to see much cooler temperatures, a nice drop in our humidity, but it hasn't happened just yet. Today is going to be a transition day, so still going to be warm in the upper 80s. I'll show you what's coming to bring us the more comfortable weather coming up. Eric?
Elizabeth, taking a look at traffic right now. It is so far so good all the way across that map. We are seeing nothing but green here to restart the work week for folks coming off that Memorial Day holiday. Taking a look outside here, I-85 at Falls Lake. No traffic, but a lovely sunrise there in the background. The same story as we take a look at I-40 at NC-55. Everything out there flowing nice and smooth. Of course, we'll be looking to see if crashes, delays, any of that pops up here this morning. Bring you those details as we get there.
I-440 is back open after a crash early this morning that ended up with a car flipped on its roof. It happened near Capitol Boulevard. Nick Perling was there in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, talking with people about what they saw.
Witnesses tell me they saw a car barreling down the hill I'm standing on at around 3 this morning, leading to the car flipping over onto its roof on the interstate behind me. Now take a look at this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker, and you can see crews examining the extensive damage to the car that is flipped over. This is on 440 West near Capitol Boulevard. 3 of the 4 lanes were blocked off as crews cleaned up the debris. Witnesses tell me they saw the car going on the wrong side of the road on this exit ramp before flipping over onto the highway. And take a look, you can see tire tracks on the grass leading directly to the crash. We're told a woman was taken to the hospital and is miraculously expected to live. In Raleigh, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
More breaking news. A 17-year-old is hurt after someone shot him in Durham. This happened just before 10 last night on Wabash Street near Moore Place. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at the Durham Police Department. And Kelsey, police data shows more young people are becoming victims of crime in Durham.
Renee, it does, and that 17-year-old is expected to recover. Durham police are here investigating this morning. They're still working to make an arrest, but let's get you straight to video now from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker so you can get a look at the scene here. The shooting happened near the intersection of Wabash Street and Moore Place just after 10 last night. This shooting comes just weeks after Durham's latest crime report was released, and we're tracking crime trends. They show more young people are becoming crime victims in Durham. Yesterday's shooting makes at least 16 juveniles shot this year in Durham. So we'll be sure to stay on top of the details of this investigation and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Durham.
3 people are hurt after a crash in Carthage. The single car crash happened around 11:30 on NC 2427. The car overturned and landed on its roof. 1 person was airlifted to the trauma center at UNC. 2 others were taken to a nearby hospital. They are expected to recover.
We're looking forward to a much more calm day weather-wise today after we had some wild events on Memorial Day yesterday. This is what it looked like in a part of Cary where a viewer tells WRAL at least 5 trees fell in her neighborhood. There were similar scenes throughout the area as heavy rain and high winds passed through. Some of the worst weather was in Scotland Neck. That's in Halifax County. A tornado warning was issued there Monday afternoon. People reported several trees fell along one street in that town.
A child is fighting for his life after a terrible Memorial Day crash in Garner. 2 other people who were in the car with him died in the crash. WRAL's Laura Levine is live in Garner this morning. And Laura, police say the driver of the car who hit them was impaired and more charges are expected against him.
Renee, Garner police tell us that Jordan Porter is the man accused of causing this crash. He is facing DWI at this time. That is the charge currently. This is where it all happened, at the intersection of US 70 and New Rand Road. Police say that he ran a red light here at this intersection. I want you to take a look now at this video, which shows us a look at that devastation and aftermath as investigators were on the scene. Police say Porter was traveling west on US 70 highway and ran this red light, striking a Mazda traveling south on New Rand Road. The driver of the Mazda, Tyler Campbell, and a passenger, Susan Campbell, have died because of their injuries. A child was also in that vehicle, and they are in the hospital this morning with life-threatening injuries, as you've mentioned, fighting for their life. Now, Garner police say that more charges are anticipated. We are working to learn more of what that could look like. And also this morning, we're working to learn when he will make his first court appearance. This is a story that we will continue to stay on top of. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Today, closing arguments will get started in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. Trump's attorneys will present their closing arguments first. Prosecutors will follow. After both sides have given their arguments, jurors will get their instructions and begin their deliberations. The judge says he expects all that to happen tomorrow. Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in an effort to cover up hush money payments made before the 2016 election to porn actress Stormy Daniels.
People in Texas are working to recover after severe storms battered the state over the weekend. Power crews and relief efforts are making their way to the neighborhoods that were hardest hit. People are working to repair damaged roofs and clean up downed trees. At least 7 people died in a powerful tornado that touched down north of Dallas. It was the deadliest tornado in that part of the state in more than 8 years.
Things are busy this morning at RDU International Airport. Here's a live look at Terminal 2 right now underneath that beautiful sunrise. The Memorial Day travel weekend is wrapping up, and airport officials say it may have been one of the busiest yet. As many as 300,000 people are expected to have traveled through RDU since Thursday. It's nearly a 10% increase of people traveling compared to this holiday weekend last year.
Part of Wade Avenue will be closed tonight and tomorrow night as part of the ongoing work to improve I-440 in Raleigh. The eastbound side of the road will be closed between Blue Ridge Road and Ridge Road from 10:30 tonight until 5 tomorrow morning. That's the side of the road heading toward downtown Raleigh. The closure will also be in place from 10:30 tomorrow night until 5 Thursday morning. Crews will be working on the 440 bridge over Wade Avenue. You can use Hillsborough Street as a detour.
A man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a shooting in a South Durham parking lot. Police responded to NC 55 near NC 54. It was about 6:15 last night when witnesses told them 2 people were shooting at each other in that parking lot. The man who was found hurt was rushed to the hospital. Police are still trying to find the person who shot him.
Good morning. I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center. In about 4 hours, we should see the release of the Consumer Confidence Index from the Conference Board, essentially measuring how consumers are viewing their financial situations. And actually, on MarketWatch's website, there's an article here saying that stocks are making Americans feel richer and the Fed's inflation fight harder. Now, what exactly will this confidence index report show in regards to how people are feeling about the stock market? We'll see. But one thing I can show you this morning is looking at the futures right here. It's a live look at them as they're happening from NBC, but you'll see that there has been a positive change regarding S&P 500, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ futures. So we'll be watching closely to see how consumers are feeling about this, with that report expected to drop at 10 a.m.
Chris, thanks. The sports world is mourning the death of basketball icon Bill Walton. A moment of silence was held last night before the playoff game between the Indiana Pacers and Boston Celtics. The Hall of Famer played for the Celtics for 2 seasons at the end of his career, winning the championship with them in 1986. After his playing career, he rose to new fame as an eccentric broadcaster. Walton died of cancer yesterday at the age of 71. Coming up in 15 minutes in What's Trending, the emotional tribute to Walton from the drummer of his favorite band, the Grateful Dead.
We now know who UNC, NC State, and Duke will play, opening up the College Baseball World Series. Top seed UNC will host 4th seed Long Island in Chapel Hill in the first game. NC State is also a 1 seed. They'll host the 4 seed Bryant College in the first round. Duke is a 2 seed in their regional. They'll play 3 seeded UConn. That game is happening in Oklahoma. College World Series gets started Friday.
A surfer has the fright of his life and lives to tell about it.
When that thing hit me from below, I knew right away that was a shark.
The scary run-in forcing a popular beach to close and leading to a new warning about aggressive sharks.
A Durham chef celebrates a major honor for the 2nd year in a row. The accolades she is getting on the national level after just 2 years in the restaurant game.
And a complete weather pattern change this week. Today's going to be the transition day, but look at this. We're seeing highs in the low 80s, overnight lows in the 50s. I'll show you what's happening to bring us this cooler weather.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13. It's a pleasant start this morning as you're heading out the door. In Wilson, just a little bit of cloud cover there, 67 degrees. It's almost completely clear in Durham with a temperature of 70, and then some cloud cover there in Fayetteville at 73. For the most part, we're going to see a nice bright day today. Just a little bit of cloud cover this morning. Those clouds will be shifting out of here by lunchtime. So mostly clear, partly cloudy, 72 degrees. So feeling comfortable as you're heading out to walk the dog this morning. By lunchtime, 83, and it is going to be a warm afternoon. Our high temperatures will climb into the upper 80s. We'll see a small drop in humidity today, but today our winds shift to northwesterly. That's going to drag in a much cooler, drier air mass. So highs are going to be in the low 80s with some overnight lows in the 50s. I'll show you when that pattern begins. Coming up, Eric.
Start to the forecast and a pleasant start. Taking a look at the traffic map here this morning, you can see green all the way across here today. Taking a live look outside I-440 at I-87, you can see no major issues there. Same story looking at I-85 at Falls Lake. Just an absolutely beautiful sunrise. You know, if you got to head back to work today, I got to say, Jeff, that's the map you want to be looking at.
Yeah, a lot of folks getting back from travel, but this was a fire on a United Airlines plane that caused some major delays at one of the nation's busiest airports. Check out what happened here. A person on a flight set to take off from Chicago's O'Hare Airport shared this video. Dark smoke coming from a wing while the plane sat on the tarmac there. Arrivals at the airport were temporarily halted while that plane was towed back to the gate. No one was hurt.
People in 7 villages in Indonesia are leaving their homes after a volcanic eruption. This time-lapse video shows volcanic ash blasting out of Mount Ibu early Monday morning. The ash clouds went about 4 miles into the sky. Local officials say around 1,800 people are in the evacuation zone.
A surfer came face to face with a shark and prompted a popular Southern California beach to shut down. And he lived to tell all about it. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here with what that surfer had to say about a dangerous encounter here.
Yeah, this was pretty scary, Jeff. Evan Garcia was surfing Sunday night in San Clemente and says he knew right away that he was bumped off his surfboard by a shark. The bite mark on his board nearly a foot in diameter. This was all captured on a Surfline cam. Garcia was knocked off his 7-foot surfboard by what he calls an aggressive 4 to 6 foot shark. After that happened, he notified lifeguards right away and showed them this bite mark on his board. Officials ordered everyone out of the water and decided to shut the beach down for the Memorial Day holiday. Garcia says he feels lucky to still be alive.
I feel like that's about as lucky as you possibly can be, you know, as someone who surfs a lot and spends a lot of time in the water. You always know that's a possibility, but there's people out there who have been seriously injured by sharks, and I'm so lucky that it only got my board.
Yeah, he is. Lifeguards say these incidents involving sharks' aggressive behavior are rare, but the best thing to do if you find yourself in that situation is to leave as quickly as you can, but as calmly as you can. Now, this incident not slowing Garcia down. He's headed to Hawaii for another surf trip, Jeff, hopefully this time without any aggressive shark encounters.
You know, isn't that typical, though? Isn't that what you always hear from
Right.
those folks? Hey, I'm just going to get right back
Get right
in the
back
water
in.
there. Bull sharks typically the most aggressive of that type of incident right there. Thanks, Michelle.
Wild is how Preeti Was describes being nominated for the James Beard Best Chef in the Southeast Award. She was a semifinalist this year and last year, and she's only been in the restaurant game for 2 years. Was is the owner of Chini in downtown Durham, a restaurant that reflects her South Asian roots.
I never intended to open an Indian restaurant, ever. I didn't think I was a good cook of Indian cuisine.
So then what changed for you? Because clearly you are now opening restaurants and in the food industry.
And I started to think about what I missed from India. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all out and do what I am missing.
Was doesn't consider herself a chef. She describes herself as a home cook who just loves serving people food. On our new news, the surprising backlash her restaurant experienced after the James Beard nomination.
6:18 is the time right now on our Tuesday morning. Holiday's over, back to work, back to school. Elizabeth Gardner back in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. But the bright side of all this, the feels like, is so nice out there.
It really is. You know, you get into this time of year, we're about to move into June, and it can be really hot and humid, and then just, rinse and repeat all the way until September. But we're going to see a nice little break this week. We take a look at what's happening out there right now. Some cloud cover. You can see the clouds kind of peeking, the sun peeking through the clouds there in Goldsboro right now. Mostly clear in Apex, completely clear as we take a look across this part of Chapel Hill. And of course, there's a look at our newsroom right there in downtown Fayetteville. Let's take a look at the big picture. We have a cold front that slid through overnight last night. That's pushing toward the coast. Behind it, we'll see our winds shifting to northwesterly. That's going to usher in some cooler than normal temperatures and drop our humidity. Now, there may be some waves of precipitation back to our west, but all of that will stay to our west as high pressure builds in and keeps things nice and dry for us. Definitely this cluster of severe weather here across parts of Oklahoma and Texas, but that's not actually coming our way. You can see this morning a little bit of cloud cover closer to the coast that slides eastward. We'll see lots of sunshine. There's lunchtime. We stay sunny through the afternoon. Futurecast wants to maybe pop an isolated shower for us, but really for the most part, today just looks dry, and it looks dry really all the way through the weekend. So if you have any yard work to do, yes, that is Gerald Owens out there on his tractor. I love to show that every now and then, but it's going to be a great week for outdoor projects. If you don't have time until the weekend, it'll still feel nice then as well. Take a look at our drought monitor. We're looking good. We have abnormally dry conditions in some of the counties closer to the coast, but for our area, we are completely drought free. As a matter of fact, for the last 30 days, we're looking at anywhere from about 120 to about 175% of our normal rainfall. So we are all set. It looks like we may see above normal rainfall through June 11th. It's a small chance. Now, this week looks nice and dry, but we get into the week starting June 5th. We may see that bump up a little bit. We're also looking at some cooler than normal temperatures starting around the middle of this week, and then we'll be somewhere in between all the way through June 11th. So not bad to start June. 88 today, but notice how our temperatures fall. Highs in the low 80s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and those overnight lows too will be down into the 50s. That's going to feel wonderful. A little bit warmer as we get into Sunday and Monday. But Eric, I wasn't really sure that we were going to see any more lows in the 50s. That's going to feel fantastic.
I will take that as long as we can get it. That's good weather for driving around with your arm out the window and those windows down. Take a look at our traffic here this morning. We've got one crash that's popped up on the map to tell you about that's going to be up here north of the Beltline on Lynn Road. As we zoom in there, Creedmoor Road at Lynn Road, you see the sensors not picking up any major issues there, but something to keep in mind if you're headed into the city that way. Otherwise, so far so good across that entire map. Taking a live look, NC 147 at Mangum. You can see no major traffic issues there. We'll be keeping a close eye on that crash and looking for any other issues as they pop up this morning.
Eric, thanks. School employees in Durham are making another push for pay raises. The message they'll be taking directly to Durham County leaders tonight.
And an NC State grad is the big cheese once again. The bumpy road she took to bring home her second cheese rolling championship.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
This is a sad one. The death of basketball legend Bill Walton is touching people far beyond the sports world.
Actors, musicians, even former President Obama have all shared memories and condolences. Grateful Dead drummer Mickey Hart shared this touching photo late last night. In the post, he called Walton his best friend. He says Walton went to more than 1,000 Grateful Dead shows. He says there was nothing like Bill Walton. Nothing. He was certainly
look at
colorful and eccentric.
Yeah. I mean, he was a deadhead broadcasting, basketballing nut job, you know, but he was harmless and lovable. And
so much personality.
So sad. 71 years of age. Yeah, he just, you never knew what to expect with him, what was coming next. So it was always fun. We're also getting a look at Billy Zane as Marlon Brando. Zane stars in the upcoming film Waltzing with Brando. Shared some behind-the-scenes photos to Instagram, and they are just stunning. No release date yet for this movie. Look at him there on the left.
Yeah, especially this image, right? Is that not a spitting image of Brando? I mean, the hairline, the whole physicality, the silhouette even.
Oh, just the mannerisms. Wait,
yeah.
Look at that.
And you may be wondering, okay, like the whole beach thing. So the biopic explores a time when Brando wanted to build this ecologically friendly retreat in the South Pacific. So they're obviously filming at a very tropical looking locale.
Now we just have to hear how he talks, you know? We'll see if he gets that Brando voice. I don't know. NC State grad Abby Lamp is now a two-time cheese rolling champ. She won the traditional race in the British town of Gloucester yesterday. You can see the racers tumbling down the hill. She's the one in the red there, and she is trying to hold it together. But how do you hold it together when you're rolling that wheel of cheese down the hill? Lamp also won this event in 2022.
Yeah, she would practice at Dorothea Dix Park in Raleigh, but down those hills. Look at that practice paying off right there.
It is.
Two-time winner.
Yeah, no concussion there.
Singer Lizzo is responding to a South Park episode that used her name for a parody weight loss drug. In the episode, Lizzo is marketed as a medication for people who can't afford Ozempic and Mounjaro. It's shown as a way to just stop caring about how much you weigh. After watching the scene, Lizzo says she's proud that her message of body positivity got the attention of South Park's creators.
At least 16 juveniles have been shot so far this year in Durham. Coming up, how police are investigating a shooting this morning after a 17-year-old was shot and is injured.
And it was a rough weekend of storms. They're about to change the weather pattern. You have a beautiful start this morning. I'll show you when temperatures and humidity will start to drop.
That severe weather we saw on Memorial Day has left a mess for some people. The cleanup they'll be doing today after some scary moments in those storms.